الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أستغفر الله لا إله إلا اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم يا إخوان. Ramadan Mubarak. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to speak with yet. Allah. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala في القرآن Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى, that the akhirah is better and everlasting. And throughout this month of Ramadan, inshallah, so many efforts have been made as far as making arrangements for speakers and encouragement, and we have our khutbahs and so on and so forth, right? Yeah, mashallah. We know that during the month of Ramadan, this is when the hearts are soft. Yeah, this is when the hearts are soft. This is when reception is at its best. For those of you who are old enough to remember when we used to play with like the little rabbit ears on tops of TVs and things like that, yeah. Right? So you know, like to get the best reception. So Ramadan, you get the best reception. MashaAllah. But there's a framework sometimes that we as Muslims need in order to help us to be able to process all the beautiful ayat of Quran that we're going to hear, inshallah, the beautiful ahadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, and then also all of these sayings and so on and so forth of the Salihin and the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum wa kada wa kada. So, imagine if you will, it's Yawm al-Qiyamah. It is the day of judgment. And all of us are there. All of this is over. So now, the reason why this is important is because you have to forget about being here now. That's the point. So on the day of judgment, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, we don't care about this anymore. We're not thinking about all the petty, superficial, ridiculous, distractive nonsense that we engage with on a day-to-day basis. All of that is over. All the hunting and the searching and the hoping and the yearning and the lusting and so on and so forth, all of that is over. We look and we see what human beings do to each other just for the sake of the selfish desire for any aspect of hayat ad-dunya, of the life of this world. Will betray, will kill, will steal, will commit atrocities and genocide, do things to children. This is the biggest statement that needs to be said. But you want to say what's going on with humanity? It's one statement. Think about this. Children are dying. This is something that regardless of what you believe, when it comes to children, we as a race, as a species, fundamentally see something wrong with people that don't have love, respect, care, compassion for children. Because we all understand like they're innocent. What they do. Now granted, when they grow up, they'll probably do a lot. We are. But not yet. Children are dying because of the selfish desires that exist in this dunya. But now all that's gone. Now we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now all of the realities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has so explicitly explained to us in the Quran are manifest right in front of our very eyes. Some will be shocked because they ignored it. Some will be relieved, actually. Still scared, but relieved. Why? Because they know that they placed the bet correctly. I bet on my Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bet on the truth that came with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh, Allahu Akbar. And today that gamble is going to pay off, because actually it was no gamble at all. Now here's the thing. You and I, we both know that when we engage in a little bit of self-analysis, a little bit of introspection, muhasaba is what it is called, bil Arabi, we will find so much that we are not happy with. Me personally, yes, I can tell you, every day, without fail. I have yet to have a day, you know what, that's the day I'm going to hang my hat on, as they say, right? This was the excellent day. I did no wrong this day. I did not commit sins this day. I stayed in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this day. I was focused on the akhirah this day completely, 100% this day. I don't have one of those that I know of. You may. But now our situation is brought in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the mizan is there. The scale. And it's not a scale that is going to weigh based on mass. It is a scale that weighs sincerity, ikhlas. Now, because we have to be realistic, we know that for a fact, nobody enters Jannah except by the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a fact. Nobody. Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, they said, Ya Rasulullah, even you? Even me. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, khairul khalq, the best of creation, he also cannot enter Jannah except by the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So most of what we are doing, if not all of what we are doing, is about attracting the rahmah, the fadl, the maghfirah of Allah. So now as we bring our deeds in front of Allah, and we bring our ghafla, our obliviousness, our distractions, our lifestyle, which is actually, and here's the question, is it more in accordance with non-Muslims? Is it more similar to non-Muslims or to the Sahaba? Maliki yawmiddin. The day when our lifestyles will be judged. So now we're going to find ourselves potentially in a serious need. Need of what? Oh Allah, send me back for one Ramadan. And in that Ramadan, I will read Quran, and I will do dhikr, and I will stay up in the night, and I will give sadaqah, and I will do as much as I can. Oh Allah, if I could just go back, send me back so I can redo one Ramadan. Because there's not, think about it. If you're going to ask for any month, if you're going to ask for a time period, what time period would you ask for outside of the month of Ramadan? All the barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is multiplying the rewards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the reward of this Ramadan, of this fasting, is such that Allahu Akbar, you can't imagine it. It's a secret. It is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reserved and preserved specifically for us. And we mess it up time after time after time. All the parties and the this and that and the other and the lack of knowledge and thinking Ramadan is about this and Ramadan is about that and so on and so forth. And everything has become so diluted and convoluted, cloudy, if you will, cultural, as opposed to Islamic. But that's the thing, isn't it? Culture always changes. It's like language. It's always changing. So now imagine standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the thing about it is that asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah, oh Allah, send me back, is not happening. Allah speaks about this in multiple places in the Quran. We don't have time. I'm already actually done with my time. We don't have time. Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, you get one shot. You think this is like a video game? You think there's a do-over? You get 3 lives, or you're going to you get one shot at this thing. And that portion of your life that is already spent is gone. That time will not be re-entered into your account to be spent again. So whatever years, they're like, how old are you? And we say like, I am this many years. That is the number of years that are completely sealed now. I've lived them. Now with the remainder of my life, I can impact those years that are done, but I cannot relive them. So what is the alternative then? Let's just do it now. We do not have a guarantee that we're going to enter Jannah in our present situation. If you have such guarantee, mashallah, please share with at least me. I'm selfish too, but preferably all of us. If you had some secret way that you got confirmation that you are min ahlil Jannah, mashallah, please share with the rest of us, because trust me, we all want that guarantee too. But if you do not have one, as I do not have one, then the only, not just practical, but common sense as a Muslim thing to do is, why not just make this our best Ramadan? Why not make this Ramadan that I am in right now, that I'm currently fasting in right now, that I just prayed my Salatul Dhuhr in right now, why not make this one that one? That one that we potentially, oh Allah, please send me back, even just for one Ramadan. And let me show you my potential, how much I love you, how much I fear you, how much I respect you, admire you, how much I am in awe of you, how much I appreciate you. Oh Allah, how much I need your forgiveness, your rahmah, your fadl. Ya Rabb, I am muhtaj. I'm in need. This is that opportunity. Before, see, there we're thinking about, Allah Ta'ala talks about the kuffar and they're going to ask to be sent back. Allah Ta'ala, look at us. Allah Ta'ala has given us this opportunity and we didn't even ask. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, they'll ask and be denied. Here, we didn't ask and here we are. It's amazing. It's beautiful, isn't it? So my dear respected brothers and elders in Islam, the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam seize the opportunity individually and collectively With this mindset, listen to the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With this mindset that I am already gone, and I am already standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Little side thing. You know, this character, Einstein, he hit upon something that is actually very relevant. Please forgive the pun. He says that past, present, and future are an illusion. Huh? Here's the thing. What you and I understand as time is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is very true in terms of the relativism, right? During Ramadan, the time goes by so fast for those who love it. For those who love engaging in Ramadan, it's like, subhanAllah, you have to keep your eye on it. It requires a conscious effort because you got to keep because the minute you turn away, it's like, this is the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And the next, it's the 27th, and everybody's talking about Laylatul Qadr. And next, everybody's preparing for Eid. And you're just like, what happened? But for those who do not look forward to Ramadan, for those who do not want to seize the opportunity presented to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without asking, Ramadan seems like it lasts forever. Each day seems like it lasts forever. What about Jannah and Jahannam? The one who created time, the one who controls time. One, Allah Ta'ala says, وَأَنَا الدَّهْرُ, I am time. Think about that when we're talking about, oh, it's time for this, it's time for iftar, I have to do this, I have an appointment. What about the time of death? What about time in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What about the time on Yawm al-Qiyamah? What about time in Jannah? What about time in Jahannam? If we're going to seriously take a look at time, then let's take a look at time. Not just as it relates to our own personal schedule, but as it relates to our lives. So this Ramadan, make time special, make it precious. Use it seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Use it seeking the fadl and the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from wasting this beautiful month of Ramadan, this blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we did not ask for, yet it is in front of us and we find ourselves in the midst of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our a'mal and use it as a means of hidayat for the whole of the humanity. Use it as a means of a kafara for all of us, but also use it to affect the situation of the ummah today. To bring the ummah out of a state of ghafla, to bring the ummah into a state of safety from its enemies, to protect us from the plots, the schemes of shaitan and the enemies of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us through the a'mal of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through the aqeedah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve us in this Islam until our dying breath, and let that dying breath be with this kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khairan jazaa. Assalamu alaikum.